Present arms. Please remain standing and turn your attention to the north end of the stadium for the playing of the national anthem, followed by the invocation. Order, arms, at ease. Ladies and gentlemen, Chaplain Lieutenant Colonel Mark D. Hunsinger, United States Air Force Academy, Command Chaplain.
Let's pray. Almighty God, we are gathered here on this momentous occasion to witness the graduation and the launch of Class of 2026. In the words of Teddy Roosevelt, they have taken the harder road and striven valiantly in the arena where timid souls dare not venture. Their faces are marred with dust, sweat, and blood on this road less traveled, devoting themselves to a life of honorable service. Each one stands on the shoulders of those giants who have gone before them, cheered on by a cloud of witnesses, those who encourage them to persevere on their hardest days and push them to dig deeper when they thought all their strength was gone. Theirs is a class of warrior leaders, ready to adapt, lead, and win on day one. As this class joins the profession of arms, give them a laser focus for the mission. Fill them with kindness and compassion for the warfighters they will lead, as those entrusted with our nation's most precious resource. Engrave upon their hearts a spirit of humility as they remain teachable servant leaders. Give them wisdom for every decision and boldness to execute when uncertainty arises. Fill them with moral and physical courage to fight on when the stakes are high, knowing that you are their shield and rear guard. Finally, give them strength, fortitude, and a calmness of spirit when battles rage around them and within them. In your holy name, amen.
Graduates, take seats. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant General Tony D. Bauernfeind, the Superintendent of the United States Air Force Academy.
Good morning and welcome as we celebrate the United States Air Force Academy class of 2026. Today, we are honored to welcome the 50th Vice President of our United States, Vice President Vance. Sir, you do us an honor by being with us today. We are also honored to welcome the 27th Secretary of our Air Force, the Honorable Troy Mink, and his spouse, Jean. The 24th the 24th Chief of Staff of the Air Force, General Kenneth Wilsbach, and his wife, Cindy. And the 2nd Chief of Space Operations for the U.S. Space Force, General Chance Saltzman, and his spouse, Jennifer. Welcome. And to many other distinguished visitors, thank you for being here today, as well as the many members of the long blue line of Academy graduates, local leaders, and community partners that make our mission happen. Thank you for all that you do, from Colorado Springs to Washington, D.C., throughout our military community. We could not succeed without your support. Now, to the class of 2026, congratulations. After 4 years of challenging military training, academics, and athletics, your day one has arrived. But let's take you back to day one, 23 June 2022, on I-Day. You stepped onto those footprints in the cadet area with a vision of what the next 4 years would look like. Chances are the last 47 months have looked a little different than you expected. But I can tell you that I'm extremely proud of how you tackled the challenges and the changes that we have made at the Academy during your journey. This last year in particular, we witnessed you step into your leadership role as firsties, and you simply delivered excellence. You embraced warrior ethos, upheld our standards, tackled warfighter training, hit the books hard, and you left it all on the athletic fields. Today, you are the warrior leaders that we need to lead in our Air Force and Space Force. But before you think about that next chapter, reflect upon all the support that you have received, and take a moment to thank your friends, your families, your sponsor families, and your support networks, because they've been with you throughout your time here at USAFA. Also take time to recognize and thank the leaders you've become with the help of your squadron commanders, your Academy military trainers, your incredible faculty and instructors, your hardworking coaches and trainers, and your mentors across the Academy. So please join me in a round of applause for everybody that's gotten you to this point. Class of 2026, your graduation coincides with a national historical moment, the 250th anniversary of the founding of this great nation. For 2.5 centuries, the flame of American liberty has not burned on its own. It has been kept alive by generations of men and women willing to hold the front line. It has been defended by those who chose to serve something greater than themselves. As we reflect on 250 years of freedom, that is the legacy that you inherit today. But inheriting a legacy is not enough. You must be equipped and ready to carry it forward into a very unpredictable future. And that's exactly why we focus on forging warfighters to win, inspiring leaders of character equality, and motivating critical thinkers to adapt. Our nation requires it, and it demands it, especially in the rapidly changing geopolitical landscape that you are stepping into. And you have met the challenge across each of our priorities. So we have a parting gift for you. If you would look behind you on the middle tier of the stadium, we are unveiling our priorities in the Ring of Honor. Your legacy as future warfighters, leaders, and critical thinkers will live on as a reminder of the skills that our graduates bring to future fights. It's the same skills that those who came before you employed to defend our country, from the Berlin airlift to Desert Storm to enduring freedoms, and so many other missions in between. And the same skills you will carry with you throughout your Air Force and Space Force careers. And while we are looking around the stadium, I'd like to direct your attention to the big screens, where we'd like to recognize your classmates who aren't with us today, because they are competing in the NCAA championships. Zach Ayers, India Jones, Jet Rose, Ben Scheller, and Texas Tanner are demonstrating their warrior ethos with the best of the best from across the nation, and they are representing Falcon Nation strong. If you're listening, we wish you luck, and please know that your coaches have your degrees for you. Class of 2026. In this year of cadet empowerment, you elevated our 47-month journey to be even more rigorous, more realistic, and more relevant across all three mission areas: military, academics, and athletics. You took care of your mission, and you took care of your people. You lived up to your no quit, all grit motto every step of the way. As warfighters to win, you embraced the warrior ethos with a focus on readiness in all forms: physical, mental, spiritual. You are offensively minded, mission-focused, and team builders who overcame adversity to make the mission happen. You took our culminating exercise to the next level against a thinking adversary, setting a high bar for those classes that will follow you to not only meet, but to exceed. You are leaving the academy in a better place than when you entered it, as you will do with every assignment you take in your future. As warrior scholars, you integrated rigorous academics, immersive training, and cutting-edge research to prepare you for combat leadership. Your education was deliberately designed to ensure you are the warfighters who can outthink, outmaneuver, and outfight our adversaries. From putting satellites into space, to winning numerous national competitions, to providing research to support our operational forces, you advanced our strategic advantage as airmen and guardians. And as athletes, over the past 4 years, you were warriors through every competition, which led to your classmates earning 181 All-American honors, 12 conference championships, 14 Conference Players of the Year, and 18 top 25 national team finishes. Absolutely well done. And while I know you all look forward to linking arms with your joint partners in the next fight, it's important to highlight what you did with them over the last 4 years and this year. Against our military service academies and intercollegiate sports, you dominated with an overall record of 54 wins, 45 losses, and 3 ties. When you add in our competitive club teams, this year alone, USAFA was 20-9 against West Point and 14-9 against Navy, reminding West Point and Annapolis that the Air Force Academy remains far, far above. As leaders of character and quality, you chose Master Sergeant John Chapman as your class exemplar. For those of you unfamiliar, each class as our academy selects an exemplar whose qualities they hope to emulate. Every time someone says the class year, 2026, they shout the nickname of their exemplar. Master Sergeant Chapman, notably, is the first enlisted service member to be selected as an exemplar. He was a Special Tactics Combat Controller, and in 2002, then Technical Sergeant Chapman charged into an Al-Qaeda bunker in the snowy Afghan mountains, saving the lives of an entire rescue team, losing his own life in the process. He was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor for his heroism, the only Air Force Medal of Honor recipient since the Vietnam War. Master Sergeant Chapman embodies our core values and commitment to server leadership your class aspires to as leaders of character and quality. And we would like to take a moment and recognize Master Sergeant Chapman's family who are with us today. It is an honor to have you here with us on this special occasion. To the Chapman family, thank you. Like your exemplar, you made hard calls and faced adversity knowing that leaders do the right thing the right way, even if it's unpopular. As servant leaders, our airmen and our guardians deserve this, our missions require this, and our nation demands nothing else. Finally, as critical thinkers to adapt, you learn to develop innovative solutions to complex problems while operating with limited information. You prepared for modern and future warfare in the air, space, and cyber domains, ensuring we maintain our advantage for the joint force. You challenged the status quo, building teams to tackle problems from multiple perspectives. Our future success demands on your continued critical thought. And if your success leading the cadet wing this year is any indication, I know that our nation's future is in great hands. When given the challenge to lead reinvigorated military training, you ran with that charge and ensured your squadrons were ready for the most extensive and challenging warfighting culminating exercise in Air Force Academy history. When some said we focused too much on joint warfighter training at the expense of other training, you were the instructor pilots that delivered 100% soaring syllabus completion. And 35% more of you secured pilot slots than last year's class, proving that you are ready to fly, fight, and win. When some question our academic rigor, our progressive use of artificial intelligence, you led the cadet wing to the highest GPA in 20 years and the lowest academic probation level in 5 years. And you secured our academy, the only service academy I might note, on Forbes' top 10 public schools for innovation and integration of artificial intelligence. When fitness standards were set higher and some thought more would fail, you led the cadet wing to the highest physical fitness scores that this academy has seen in over 10 years. And finally, all of your successes are inspiring the next generation of classes, and we're proud to report that we've seen over an 11% increase in applications for the incoming class of 2030 due to your hard work. Class of 2026, your day one has arrived. You are ready. And I will leave you with these last thoughts. The weapons school mantra comes to my mind. Be humble, be approachable, be credible. Be humble. Your class has incredible talents. And as leaders, remember that you are entering a force that has decades of experience. Take the time to listen and learn from your team's years of being in the fight. Be approachable. Build teams and lift them up where every single member is seen, heard, and valued. When you execute this successfully and you hold the standards high, your team will outperform your mission and your expectations. And be credible. Always be a master of your craft. Be the go-to expert wherever you go. And always be ready when the nation calls. Be credible for yourself, be credible for your team, and be credible for your adversaries. Because they are watching, and I know they do not want to challenge you. Class of 2026, you brought it strong. You sprinted to the finish line, and I am exceptionally proud of each and every one of you. I can personally attest that you are the warrior leaders that our nation deserves. Congratulations, and fights on. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome the 27th Secretary of our Air Force, the Honorable Troy Mink, to the podium. Thank you very much.
The sun's trying. It's trying to burn through. I see blue, looking good. Good morning, class of 2026. Love that enthusiasm. Let me just start by saying how excited I am to be back at the United States Air Force Academy. Last year, one of my first official acts as secretary was given the graduation speech to the class of 2025. Oof, oof, class of 2025. There you go. I'm excited to find out who has the most enthusiasm, but I think we already figured that one out. Mr. Vice President, thank you very much for being here today, and thank you for the support to the department, which has just been fantastic. Mr. Saltzman, or General Saltzman, Salty, Jennifer, thank you very much for being here. My wife, Jean, oof, I almost forgot about that. That wouldn't have went home. That wouldn't have went well at all. Cruiser, Jennifer, thank you very much. Or Cindy, thank you for being here today. And then, of course, Tony and Tricia, thank you very much. Not only for being here today, but really thanks for your 20 plus or 30 plus years of service to the Air Force and to the Academy. And congratulations on your retirement going forward. And thanks to all the other distinguished visitors, the mentors, the friends, and the guests attending today, as well as the planners who made today possible. To the families of our graduates, thank you for raising the generation of incredible men and women and then entrusting them to us. You have probably heard some stories from the sons and daughters over the last 4 years that made you wonder about this place. But trust me, it was worth it. Throughout their time here in Colorado, you have continued to support through GRs, COLEXs, and more. So thank you. Thank you as well to the sponsor families, the home away from homes for the graduating class. Thank you for opening your doors and giving our cadets a safe place to relax without any upperclassmen around. The class of 2026 is here today in no part because of you, so thank you. And to our world-class faculty and staff, you have spent the last 4 years forging citizens, cadets, and then into leaders of character. Professors in Fairchild Hall, AOCs, AMTs, coaches down on the fields of friendly strife. Thank you for the skills and character you have given our rising generation of leaders. And finally, to the class of 2026, congratulations. And it is an honor to speak to you today. In the past year as a SECAF, I feel like I've had the full USAFA experience with my multiple visits out here, give or take a few tours. I've seen the A course in action, eaten at Mitch's, flown your aerobatic gliders, which was really fun, and even shot at the Cadam range. I actually think I would have won the little competition we had there, but I think I was beat on a bit of a technicality. Technically, the entire team was just a lot better than I was. I've heard all the stories about the class of 2026, the good and the bad. CS-34 lived up to their name. So who brought live hogs onto the T-zone? Come on, see the hands. And then accidentally let one loose? Accidentally let one loose? So who painted the strips red right before a snowstorm? So he didn't raise his hand, but there's a lot of people pointing at him. So you know where this is going, right? Tony's, please issue demerits for everyone here who raised their hands. And by the way, a few of your classmates shared these stories with my staff last week. A word of advice to soon-to-be lieutenants: don't overshare with your boss's staff. They do not keep secrets very well. I found it humorous, though. But seriously, it is such an honor to be here today to congratulate you. In addition to congratulations, let me be the first to say welcome. Welcome to the world's greatest Air Force and Space Force. You are joining in one of the most dynamic and challenging threat environments since World War II. Disruptive technology like small unmanned aircraft, proliferated satellites, constellations, adaptive manufacturing, and artificial intelligence are rapidly changing the character of war. And our adversaries are leaning aggressively into that opportunity across the board. They are innovating quickly, and they are seeking to challenge American dominance across every warfighting domain. That includes air and space. Like it or not, whether you feel ready or not, your career will be marked by rapid change. We are modernizing nearly every mission area in our department. Our Space Force is growing rapidly and is slated to double in the years ahead. The Air Force is fielding brand new platforms, from trainers like the T-7 to the Sentinel ICBM program. The B-21 is going to redefine stealthy long-range strike, and CCAs and the F-47 will revolutionize air-to-air combat. We are boosting production of spacecraft, aircraft, and munitions to levels we haven't seen in decades. It will be up to you, young men and women with fresh ideas and unmatched technical education. You will be expected to navigate through this changing world. If I had only one message to all 931 of you here today, it would be this: you are ready. There is a reason you have all earned Bachelors of Science. It prepared you to operate some of the most complex systems the world has ever known. There is a reason you have all practiced sports, tackled the assault courses, and carefully studied leadership. It trained you to lead teams through setbacks, challenges, defeats, and ultimately to win. There is a reason you have studied and emulated your exemplar Master Sergeant John Chapman. It equipped you with a character that our force expects and deserves from its leaders. You are here because you have overcome every obstacle we could throw at you, whether at Jack's Valley or in the classroom. You've earned your place as the next generation of leaders and innovators, maintaining dominance in a rapidly changing world. You are ready. This is your moment to execute, your moment to deliver, your time to lead the United States Air Force and Space Force. Now, it is my honor and distinct pleasure to introduce today's commencement speaker, a true warrior scholar. He's a best-selling author and graduate of Yale University, and more importantly, the Ohio State University. He also spent 4 years in the United States Marine Corps, or United States Marine Corps, which this audience knows is one of the top 3 branches of our military. He is the first Marine to serve as our Vice President. Ladies and gentlemen, class of 2026, please welcome the 50th Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance.
Please. Thank you. Well, first, thank you to Secretary Mink for the kind introduction. And let me just say, it's real brave of the Secretary to take pot shots at the Marines while surrounded by this level of air support. I put in my remarks this morning how wonderful it is to be here on this beautiful morning in Colorado Springs. And that's a note to the Vice President and the Vice President's speechwriters to check the weather before you make a big speech. That's my first piece of advice. In all seriousness, I am particularly gratified to be honored today by this welcome and this kindness. Some of the people who make it possible for me to do my job, to make it possible for me to be Vice President of the United States, are proud airmen and guardians. The people who run Dover Air Force Base, the people who pilot and crew Air Force 2, the staff at my house, the person who delivered me my daily intelligence briefing, they are proud to be airmen or proud to be guardians, and I'm proud to be here with you today. Without fail, they are skilled and brilliant and professional and kind, the very best of us, just like you. And today we celebrate not just you, not just the completed journey, but importantly, we celebrate something far more important. That today you become commissioned officers and leaders of the great patriots that I interact with every single day. If they are the best of our nation, they are now under the charge of every single person who graduates from this great academy. You all should be proud, and I hope you are, proud of what you've accomplished, proud of what you've endured, but you should also be sobered by the extraordinary responsibility our nation now entrusts to you. Indeed, so impressed am I with this group and the service that you lead that I'm hiring a member of this very class for a summer internship after graduation. So, Cadet Tang, where are you? Raise your hand. Consider this your very first meeting with the new boss. Congratulations. Don't screw it up. Now, all of you celebrate a journey that started not just 4 years ago, but decades before that. And so I particularly want to welcome the people who made you who you are. The friends, the family, the faculty, the loved ones, and of course, the other distinguished guests who were honored to be joined here today. So I'd like to thank Secretary Mink in thanking several particular folks for being here. General Cruiser and Mrs. Cindy Wilsbach, thank you all. General Chance and Mrs. Jennifer Stoltzman, thank you guys for being here. And last but certainly not least, Lieutenant General Tony and Mrs. Tricia Bowenfine, thank you all. And I should also note that we're joined by another special guest. So honored and so proud of you that we have our great Secretary of Energy, Chris Wright. Chris, thank you for being here, and thank you for your lovely wife for being here to honor our airmen. But most of all, I want to thank the families who are with us this morning. The young men and women we honor today deserve a tremendous amount of praise. But they know as well as I do that the seeds of many of their finest qualities were ultimately planted by all of you in the bleachers. And to our new officers, my second piece of advice is to show a spirit of gratitude above all to the people who made you who you are. That will make you better airmen, it will make you better guardians, and it will make you better leaders. When you're tired, remember the father or the mother who worked an extra shift to give you a little bit extra. When you're frustrated with someone under your command, and that will happen, remember the time a grandparent or a school teacher showed you patience and grace that you didn't deserve. To the loved ones gathered here today, we will never forget that our nation's airmen and guardians were your sons and daughters long before they were ours. So I hope you take pride in what they've become, and know this: the administration will always have your back, just as these new officers have ours. Now, without further ado, class of 2026, you've survived the academy. Congratulations. You've conquered the 6-mile ruck out to Jack's Valley and back. You flung yourself off the 10M or from even higher up in the rafters. You overcame Astro 310. Endless racetracks. And this is a little surprising to me. Even a herd of wild hogs set loose near Fairchild Hall. Now, who is responsible for setting loose the wild hogs in Fairchild Hall? A few timid hands went up. Those are the future politicians. And lest any of the masterminds of that transgression sweat it out or fear, now is a good time to fall back on a great tradition and announce that I hereby grant amnesty to all cadets serving restrictions and confinements for Category 1 and 2 offenses. Class of 2026, you have never passed up an opportunity to prove your gumption to the world. All of you learned how to drop everything and get to inspection-ready condition in exactly 5 minutes and 23 seconds. But beneath all the crazy stories and experiences, something serious and profound happened on this campus over the last 4 years. Over that time, this institution has been preparing you to inherit one of the greatest military traditions in the world. And that's not an exaggeration. This academy has a long and storied history. It inculcates some of the finest and most timeless values of our armed services: integrity, service, excellence. And you are the latest generation to join the proud, unbroken lineage, that strong blue line. You are its newest members. But one of the defining characteristics of American air power, and now space power, has always been its willingness to evolve alongside the nation it protects and the threats that we confront. You pay homage to the great tradition, but you also innovate for the future. There's a phrase in the military, and I've heard it a lot, which is, no plan survives first contact with the enemy. You've probably heard it so many times by now that it barely registers. I heard it a lot when I was in the Marine Corps, but I've heard it more in the last 18 months, and it's taken on new meaning. Because I've come to think that particular phrase explains something much larger than battlefield tactics. People like predictability. We like systems and routines and plans because they create the feeling that the future has already been negotiated on our behalf. It's easy. And so we build strategic frameworks and technical models. We build slide decks and PowerPoint presentations with arrows moving confidently across maps all over the world. And for a little while, at least, It works. The world feels orderly. But then something crazy happens. It's called reality. Adversaries surprise you. Your plan falls through overnight. Some asshole cuts you off in the middle of an operation and makes your blood pressure skyrocket, but you can't panic and you can't overreact, not even if it's 3 in the morning. And members of the class of 2026, you are graduating into one of those eras where that reality, that unpredictability of warfare is becoming impossible to ignore. Now, your nation, your vice president, and the President of the United States, who sends his very best, we ask you to apply that same adaptability, that same innovation that you learned at this academy to an entirely new era of warfare, one shaped by autonomous systems, AI, and cyber operations. Technologies evolving far faster than military institutions have historically been accustomed to. Now, some of you will operate in the air, some in cyber, and some in space. Many of you will hold jobs that would have sounded like science fiction to graduates of this academy even 20 years ago. But the roles you're about to take are dead serious, and they are not science fiction. They are now reality. Because our adversaries are studying this country every day. They're studying our military doctrine. They're studying our industrial capacity. They're studying our political divisions, our attention span, and new graduates, they are studying you. One of the defining facts for this particular class is that nobody can tell you the skills that you learned over the last 4 years will remain theoretical. They will become very practical and very real very soon. Airmen and Guardians are serving their nation overseas right now. Across Operation Epic Fury, Absolute Resolve, Southern Spear, and Midnight Hammer, they've excelled in executing unimaginably challenging missions under real-world combat conditions. And time after time, they've made us proud. They've accomplished things that the rest of the world quite literally thought were impossible. And trust me, I've seen the intelligence reports. Your predecessors have done things that other people thought were impossible, and they did them anyway. And those adversaries woke up to realize that what they thought was impossible had been accomplished by our airmen and guardians. You had done them anyway. Now, when the president needs options, it's our Air Force and our Space Force who provide them, redefining what is possible mission after mission through sheer human daring. It is American air power that allows us to penetrate denied airspace and strike critical targets across enormous distances with speed, efficiency, and precision. And when the president says he will not allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon, it is the men and women you will join in just 60 days who give force to that promise and to that guarantee. Now, because you will keep your end of the bargain with bravery and skill and dedication, you should expect some things out of your civilian leadership, out of the president, the vice president, the secretary of war. This is why we've pushed forward with the F-47 and the Golden Dome and any number of new and advanced technologies. It's why the president has made improving military quality of life such a central focus, why he's insistent on increasing the defense budget to $1.5 trillion, and why he's proud to support pay raises, new barracks, and new hospitals and new schools on base. We want you to be supported so that you can focus on the fight and focus on winning. entering an Air Force, and this is maybe the thing the President and I are most proud of, is that we've seen extraordinary recruitment numbers. The men and women you will lead in the Air Force and the Space Force are passionate, they are ready to go, they are excited to serve, and they will look to you for the leadership of the future. The mission that we will ask them to do under your leadership will showcase the strength, the ingenuity, and especially the sound moral judgment of our warfighters. And I want to tell you that I saw this ingenuity very real when we had this incredible mission where the 494th Fighter Squadron lost a couple of pilots downed in Iran. Now, we knew they were alive. We didn't know exactly where they were. The first confirmation that both crew members' beacons were active actually happened about a day after these pilots, or the second pilot, I should say, went down. And there was this period where we were worried that maybe he wasn't alive, and then this moment of joy when we realized that he was. But that moment of joy, that moment of celebration lasted very shortly, because we knew we had somebody behind enemy lines that we had to go rescue. Now, your Air Force, your future force, went in there and did the impossible, sent airplanes into places where no one thought they could land, assembled helicopters on site, and went and retrieved an American pilot behind enemy lines. One of the most daring and amazing things that I've ever seen. But I've never told anybody this before. I was sitting in a secured conference room on the phone with our military leadership and our civilian leadership, and that operation hit a bit of a snag. And I think a lot of us were looking around and saying, are we worried here that this is not going to be as successful as we thought it might? But it was an Air Force general who said, Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, we've hit some snags, but I promise you we're still going to get everyone out alive. And that was our great Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Dan Kane. So smooth, so confident. And that's exactly what we did, and what we learned is that sometimes Plan A doesn't always work out. Sometimes Plan B doesn't always work out. But the reason why the Air Force and the Space Force are so powerful is because they go from Plan A to Plan B to Plan C, and they execute time and time again. And that's what makes you the best Air Force and the best Space Force anywhere in the world. But that's the legacy of this academy. Since this institution's first commissioning in 1959, generations of airmen and guardians have carried that tradition through times of war. Some returned home as legends, pilots and crews whose daring would inspire books and films and direct the eyes of countless young Americans to the skies. Others, like the exemplar of your class, gave everything, sacrificing their lives for a nation that would forever grieve their loss. All these patriots helped write the story of American air power across the most consequential conflicts of the last 60, 70 years. From the skies over occupied Europe, to MiG Alley in Korea, to the long years of combat over Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, generations of airmen have served their country with extraordinary skill and professionalism. And now, of course, it is our guardians leading that same mission into space and into cyber. Class of 2026. This tradition will very soon become your very own, something that gives you credibility, something that people look to you and say, you've got to be impressive because you've got on that beautiful uniform, but also something that you are entrusted to protect and to build on for the next generation. In 60 days, you will arrive at your first assignments and realize the distance between training and real-world operations is much shorter than you might have expected. You'll be given tasks that sound impossible, and you'll be leading senior enlisted folks, some of whom joined the Air Force or joined the Space Force before you were even born. But they will look to you for leadership. But you will also arrive prepared. Through world-class academics and athletics of this institution, yes, but most importantly, through repeated exposure to intense fatigue, uncertainty, and responsibility. I love this phrase, no quit, all grit. And one thing I noticed while learning about your stories is how often, despite all your successes, things didn't always go exactly as you planned. Broken elevators during move-in, painting the strips red only to spend the next week mopping them clean after a snowstorm. Speaking of which, snow. Lots of snow in Colorado Springs. Snow during recognition. Snow during culminating exercises. Snow during seemingly every single major event, but you didn't let it stop you. None of these stories are described by all of you bitterly. You just laugh about them. You carry on. You have the right attitude. And that's as good a sign as any that the amazing education you've received has taken root. Most people spend their entire lives trying to eliminate uncertainty. America's greatest military institutions, such as this one, teach you to thrive in it. You thrive in uncertainty, and that's what makes you so lethal. One of the reasons this country invests in institutions like this is because trust, versatility, and fortitude are always important, whatever the weapons and whatever the technology. And I think they become especially important the moment reality collides with our best hopes and our best plans for the battlefield. Cadets, as all of you know, this year our great nation will celebrate 250 years since the founding. Every new generation born in the United States inherits a civilization that was built by somebody else, but must be built upon by the next generation. And with your commissioning, that duty passes to you. You know, the general, the superintendent said something to me while you were marching out, and let me just say for your friends and family, did they look good marching out or what? I knew we had the toughest Air Force and Space Force. Now I know that we also have the best looking Air Force and Space Force anywhere in the world. But the general said something to me. He said, you know, sometimes I read headlines and it's easy to get sad or depressed about the state of this country. But when I look at you, when I look at the future of America, I feel great hope that we are and will remain the greatest country anywhere in the world. But with your commissioning, the duty to make America the very best it can be, that duty passes to you. And now, class of 2026, you join that long blue line at a moment when your nation needs your skill. Your nation needs your adaptability. Your nation needs your discipline, your sense of honor, and your love of your fellow Americans. Now, as a lot of you, of course, know, we are in graduation season here in the United States. Hundreds of thousands of your fellow Americans, most of them civilian, have celebrated or will celebrate graduations during this season. But almost none of them will have your responsibility. Quite literally, decisions over life and death. And if you think about it, that responsibility comes from trust. Your nation gives you incredible responsibility because we believe in you. And this brings me to my final and maybe my most important point. You know, this is the only commencement speech that I'm giving this year, and so I've watched a few highlights of graduation speeches where this or that corporate leader will discuss artificial intelligence, AI, and be met with literal boos. Now, you can't boo me. I'm the Vice President of the United States. But your fellow Americans are understandably, they're worried about AI, about how it will affect the labor market, how it will distribute resources, and how it has fundamentally changed how we interact with one another, our social lives. But the thing I worry about most with AI is how it will change warfare. Now, Pope Leo XIV, in a recent document, encouraged us as human beings not to outsource the most important moral decisions to digital technology. And I want to endorse that sentiment and make it more specific to each and every one of you. AI will inevitably change warfare. And of course, as you've learned over the last 4 years, it already has. But one of the things that makes Americans unique, that makes you as warfighters unique, is that we wage war justly. But when I say that we, all of us, wage war justly, I mean fundamentally that you must do so. Because you are the ones who execute. You are the ones who lead on the battlefield. You are the ones who ensure that our lethality in war, which is amazing and necessary, it also coexists with our heart and with our conscience. It is an incredible burden to put on your shoulders, but it is one that we entrust to you with full confidence. And if the warfare of the future is to live up to the moral values of our ancestors, decisions over life and death must be made by humans and not machines. So as AI transforms the battlefield, in some ways positively, in some ways not, I ask that you be jealous and selfish about your role as the decision maker in warfare. Use technology to make you better, but never submit to it. You are the masters of warfare, and both your minds, but also your hearts, are the opposite of artificial. Cadets, 4 years later, you are fundamentally different from the young men and women who first stepped in to the footprints on I-Day. You have changed, absolutely, but the world has changed around you. And the mission to defend our United States, no matter what the world may throw at us, remains the same. And so does the deep gratitude that the rest of America feels for you. So the class of 2026, congratulations. Your country is asking a great deal from you, but it would not be asking it if we didn't believe that you were capable of carrying that duty every single day. So let me say, from the President of the United States and from the bottom of my heart, to this class of cadets who will soon become officers, I am proud of you. I'm proud of you, I love you, and I'll be rooting for you every single step of the way. Congratulations, class of 2026.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Cadet Class President for 2026, Cadet First Class, Kobe Achu. The Summer Cadet Wing Commander, Cadet First Class, Parker Fitzgerald. The Fall Cadet Wing Commander, Cadet First Class, Robert Miller. And the Spring Cadet Wing Commander, Cadet First Class, John Costello, will present the class gifts to the Vice President of the United States.
Vice President Vance, for your dedicated service to our nation, to the United States Air Force, to the United States Space Force, and to the United States Air Force Academy. It is with great pride that today's graduating class designates you by acclamation an honorary member of the United States Air Force Academy class of 2026. As tangible evidence of that honor, we ask that you accept this painting commissioned by Justin Hayward. Our legacy lives in our class painting, a tribute to the past, present, and future. The MH-47 honors past sacrifices and our exemplar, Master Sergeant John Chapman. The F-16 represents today's strength, while the B-21 embodies tomorrow's boundless potential.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brigadier General James M. Volpiani, the Dean of the Faculty.
Before presenting the entire graduating class to you, Vice President Vance, I would like to highlight a